Okay, so here we go. Papa says, I'm thinking about hiring a sourcing agent. What are the pros and cons of that? I'm going to start by saying I heartily think that hiring a sourcing agent is a great idea. I think it's a really, really good thing to do. If you can afford to do it, I believe it's a really great thing to do. I think that you should absolutely understand the process of sourcing your own products. And I believe that you will, 9 times out of 10, get a better result and a cheaper result if you find yourself a sourcing agent. So I'm just going to lay that on the line for you, okay? Here's why. So here's the pros, as I see them, of having a sourcing agent. Pro number 1. They speak the lingo. Unless your Mandarin is super, super good and you're sourcing in China, of course, then you're going to rely upon finding factories that speak English to be able to communicate with you. Now that, as you would imagine, drastically alters the number of factories you can get access to. And you should also consider this. Factories on Alibaba are the factories that typically speak English. There is a shitload of other factories in China that don't speak English and therefore don't get themselves onto Alibaba. Consider that. So that's number 1. Your sourcing person will speak the lingo. They can, in my experience, research faster and better than you in the target country because they know what to search for. They'll know how to type things in, how things are described properly in that particular language. They'll know the nuances of that. Dog leash versus dog lead, for instance, is a great example of that. Seemingly innocuous difference, but makes a massive amount of difference in what results come up. So there's that too. They'll have that, what you simply don't have because of your language barrier. They probably have as well, so pro number 3, they probably have as well contacts that they can call upon, although that's also sometimes a negative. I'll talk about those in a second. And they will have experience in exporting from that market. So they can oftentimes save you some money, give you some tips about exporting, for instance, from China into Australia. They'll have gone through that process heaps, given that they're experienced, of course. And so they'll be able to guide you and help you with that too, okay? And they're very, very happy to do that. Pro number 4, they know how to spot shady people and they know how to spot middlemen. So there's this weird kind of thing, this paranoia that particularly beginners have when they're going onto a platform to go source, that they think everybody's going to try and rip them off. And of course, that's just not true. It's just not true. There's very, very few bad eggs in the basket. Most people are bloody awesome and will go out of their way to help you to get the results that you're after. But of course, there are some bad eggs, and a good sourcing agent will spot them for you really, really quickly. And they'll also spot middlemen for you, and they'll be able to bypass that and go directly to the factory. Okay, so they'll be able to do that. Talking of going direct to the factory, because of that, they'll also be able to negotiate on your behalf as well. They can communicate with the factory about any changes you want or any alterations that you want doing. Oftentimes, problems with factories come down to problems of communication. You can't speak their language, they can't speak your language. There's a problem with that. And so whilst you think it's quite easy to get the color of the strap changed on whatever it is you're wanting to get changed, because of the language barrier, that may get lost in translation and you may not get what you want, versus dealing with somebody who is fluent in English, fluent in Mandarin, for instance. It's much, much easier to get what you want because of that. Oftentimes as well, like it or not, the factory that you're going to be sourcing from, particularly as we come up to things like Prime Day, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit later on, will prioritize their existing customers and will prioritize their Chinese customers over their new customers. And so your sourcing agent will be able to keep the pressure on them and be able to go, negotiate on your behalf to make sure that you're at the front of the queue as well. Super, super important. And then the last thing as well, which I think is really important, is that any certifications, for instance, that the factory claim to have that gives them permission to manufacture your product, the sourcing agent can check that on your behalf. You would struggle to check if a factory has got the right accreditations and certifications to make a particular product in China. You would struggle with that. For your sourcing agent, it's a piece of piss to do that, okay? So that's all the good things about it. Some of the bad things are sometimes they get paid by the factory. And of course, you don't want that because that's a massive conflict of interest. Okay, so you'd want to find a sourcing agent that is out for you and is looking after your best interests versus looking after the factory's interests as well, and so steering you towards a deal with a factory that they've got a side deal with, thereby limiting the scope of the companies that you can go after and also increasing the price of your ultimately unit price of your product as well. So that does happen, not as often as you would think, but it does happen. So it's an important factor to take into consideration. I would also mention as well, this is a tiny little thing. It's more of just like a public service announcement. Most people don't realize that WhatsApp is blocked in China. Most folks don't actually realize that. It is though, and that's why the majority of the communication that you'll have with China is done on WeChat, not WhatsApp. So just make sure that you've got WeChat on your phone. It's all in English, don't worry about it. And there's even a translate function as well, so it's pretty cool. But that's what happens with that. WhatsApp is blocked in China.
TikTok, anybody?
So there's that too. All right, so anything else I can think of? You can check the sourcing person you're going to be looking for has got a business license. That's probably important for you to do. In terms of cost, typically they charge somewhere between 2% and 10% of your ultimate order value as their fee. So if you order like $1,000 worth of stock, for instance, then typically they'll charge 10% of that as their fee for sourcing for you. But the more stock you order, the lower their commission rate is. So if you're ordering, say, $30,000 worth of stock, $50,000 worth of stock, they'll charge you 2%, for instance, something like that, okay? And then other people will charge you a flat fee. I know Jeffrey Loho, who's one of our Amazon coaches, his business partner, she does flat fee for the sourcing she does from China. She's very, very good. And then other people that I've used. So right now, just to be super transparent, we have that in-house. So we've got somebody that I found on Upwork, and we ended up giving him so much business that he now, he's our in-house sourcer. So we have him, and that works really, really well. But in the past, I have used Leeline, who are at leeline.com. I've also used Adam Gilburn, I think that's his last name, Adam Gilburn, at EasyIMEX, so IMEX, so I've used him as well. Both of those, though, in fairness, are a little bit expensive, and so I'm going to suggest for your first kind of go at it, then just go to the file section of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs community. So just go into the file section. You can see it just there on the left-hand side, and then scrolly down until you find the recommended suppliers document. Where is that? There it is, recommended suppliers. Click on that, and you will find there are some sourcing agents that I have used in the past and other members of the AOE community have used as well, and they're legitimate, they're really good, they'll do a great job for you, so you could use those too. Hope that helps. Hey, Neil here. Just before you go away, that was a question that I got asked on my regular Monday night Q&A session, which I have with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in joining us as an Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, then you can click on the link below to find out a lot more about that. And also, as a special thank you for watching this video, I've got a great book that I want to give you for free. It's a current bestseller on Amazon, and it teaches you everything that you would need to know about starting a business here in Australia on Amazon. So you can see that just up there. So if you'd like to get a copy of that for free, then again, just click on the link below and you'll get a copy of that. You'll get taken to a page where you can get a copy of that for absolutely free. Hope you enjoyed that little snippet from one of my Aussie Online Entrepreneur Q&A sessions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also like this video. And if you've got a question that you would like answering, then post it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it, whether on one of these videos for you or directly in the comments directly below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the next of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs Amazon FBA Australia videos. See you soon.